Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. We are here on Tuesday. It is 12 p.m. on the West Coast out here, 3 p.m. on the East Coast. Going to be about 20 minutes late getting this video out to you. So let's get right into it. A quick relook at what we have on the slate today. 5 games, 5 teams on a back-to-back. Chicago plays tomorrow. You already know this. If you saw the other video that's up each and every day, it's coming the night before, breaking down each and every one of the games. Did that last night for you. That video is up if you want to check it out. Subscribe to the page if you would, so you can keep following along all season. And let's go ahead and get right into the 4 additional bets that I have on top of the best bet that I gave out in the other video last night. Pascal Siakam is here as best bet number 2, over 25.5 points and rebounds. Minus 110 on MGM is by far the best odds. That is up to 26.5 on some books. So I would take it on MGM if you can get it there. For sure, you're going to save some money. Al Horford is out. Porzingis is questionable after missing yesterday. So the front line for this Boston Celtics team is going to remain a bit thin, no matter even if Kristaps does play. They're going to be pretty thin in terms of handling Pascal, especially. So he's gone over 3 straight versus this team without Al Horford in it, and he's gone comfortably over, averaging 36 points and rebounds combined when he's played this team without Al Horford on the floor, and that includes one with Kristaps earlier this season. Granted, he was on the Toronto Raptors. I would argue he's better now, and he was always going to be better in a team that had a bit more structure, definitely, in the half-court offense than Toronto did, and knows how to use a guy like Pascal with an athletic ability to also like bang down low, right? In his last 4 with this team, and that's been without Halliburton, 23 a game, 9 boards, and 13 rebound chances. Halliburton is back in this one. I don't think he's going to mess up with the rebound chances at all, right? Like, Pascal's still going to be down there doing his thing, getting boards. If anything, he's just going to keep helping him out. I mean, in the first game they played together, he went over. Pascal had 21 points in that game. And in the last 9 versus Boston, like, he's done his thing. He really likes playing Boston. 25 a game, 7 boards, gets you well over that 25.5 PR. I guess this is just low because we're still trying to see what's going to happen when Halliburton comes back in and how that impacts Pascal's ability to play against this Boston Celtics team. The Celtics spread actually ballooned a bit to about 7.5, 8.5 points, even with Al Horford news coming out and even with Tyrese Halliburton being announced in. So people still believe heavily in this Boston team, who's been good on back-to-backs. They're 6-2 straight up, but I don't think they're going to have a great answer for Pascal in this one, who's going to keep scoring from the parts of the floor that they're going to be very vulnerable. Even if Kristaps is in there, he'll be battling with Miles Turner, and they'll be sort of out on the perimeter even, to be honest with you, which is why power forwards are able to do a bit more when their centers can pull Kristaps from the basket. Now, if they didn't have that, this team is incredible. Boston is against defending power forwards, but I think that's why we're getting some value here, is just the fact that they're normally a really good defense against this type of position. But when you have Miles Turner there pulling Kristaps away from the basket, you have one less shot blocker. And if Papa Al's, you have no shot blockers, really, outside of maybe if Jason Tatum gets one. And honestly, Derek White is one of the best blocking guards in the league, if not the best blocking guard. But I digress. Let's talk about a different really good defensive, athletic, tall guard, if you will. Tall guard, he's like 6'4", but he's big for a guard. He plays like he's like 6'8", and that's Josh Hart. Over 12.5 rebounds and assists. Staying away from the points in this one. I wanted to add it. It's 12 points. You get this up to about 24.5 PRA, and I don't like that for him. His usage rate is down there. It's nothing. I don't know if OG Anunoby is playing yet. I don't think he is, but that's total speculation, honestly, on the type of injury that he had. He could play. He was questionable for yesterday and then just downgraded to out because they're playing the Hornets, and it's possible that they want him back in this game where Utah has a much more formidable front court than do the Hornets, right? The rebounding for Utah is incredible, awful for Charlotte. The assists are there for you against Utah, though, and he's going to be the starting power forward without OG in there. If OG is in there, he's the starting small forward. I don't know. They play off of each other. Last night, Josh Hart guarded PJ Washington on the Charlotte Hornets, their power forward. He played in that spot. He had 13 rebound chances and 11 potential assists. So truly a Swiss Army knife for Josh Hart. Dante DiVincenzo was as well, but looks like we're expecting him to be the scorer according to the projections, because he's got a 19.5 points prop for White Dante, which is wild. But I'll take Josh Hart with the other ancillary stats here outside of the points for him, because I don't want to have to worry about his 11% usage rate that he's playing with since the trade for OG. And even last night wasn't a very high usage rate, and OG didn't even play. You should know that Julius Randle is out. I hope everyone's aware of that. He's not playing in this one, and that's why Josh Hart is the power forward more than anything. It should really mention that above OG even. Like I said, Utah allows the second most assists per game, and Josh Hart is just up to the minutes are going to be there with or without OG tonight because of no Julius Randle. So we're really good with him to get the 12.5 rebounds and assists in what should be a decently fast-paced game, like not too fast. The defense and offense for Utah on the road is terrible. So Hart should have rebound chances and assist opportunities. Speaking of assists, Let's go to the king, LeBron James, over 7.5 assists, -117 on Caesars. AD is out. And that was a big reason why I knew LeBron was going to play in this game, but I didn't talk about him last night because I didn't know what the deal with AD was. He's officially out, and we're going to go ahead and take LeBron to get the 8 assists in this one. With AD out, he averages 8 assists. Now, he's only played 2 games in his last 80 games without AD. They've both been on the floor a lot when they're both together. Now, LeBron playing without AD. And this actually just happened against Atlanta, where he played Atlanta without AD last season, got 10 assists against this team. He's got 9 assists per game against them in his last 3, 2 of those with AD. But like I said, I'm not really worried about the assists for him with or without AD, because to be honest, he gets a lot of assists to his 3-point shooters more than anything. So that's what we need is 3-point shooting. And that's what's going to be plentiful in this game for both teams. Atlanta, awful historically, just really bad. But in terms of limiting 3-pointers, but so are the Lakers. So there's going to be some opportunity there for threes on the other side. But for this bet, the threes will be there for LeBron's counterpart so that he can get those assists. Gets a lot of potential assists. He's gone over this in 3 straight. I think 10 plus assists for him is highly realistic. It's probably only going to be about plus 180. I didn't ladder it on this one. I didn't parlay anything either, even though I like him parlayed with stuff as well. If you want to take LeBron, I definitely like Trey Young as well in this one, maybe even slightly more than this bet. But with LeBron playing and him saying he's going to play and him like making clear that he's not a back-to-back, but he's coming out and playing, like, I got to believe in it. They just got absolutely owned by Houston, and he has owned this Atlanta team in the past. We've talked about it multiple times. If you are an athlete who is big and can get to the rim all the way from the 3-point line and just drive, Atlanta is awful against drives. They're awful at the rim, and they're awful against this particular position, which I've said in the past, LeBron James doesn't have a position. His position is LeBron James, or maybe like better shooting Magic Johnson, if that's an archetype. But other than that, there's nobody like him. However, where he's playing from on the floor to come in and attack is what a power forward would be doing against this team, which is just go to the rim against this awful transition defense, against this awful paint defense, and just have your way with it. Maybe you've got Jalen Johnson on you, and you can go ahead and give him a nice lesson in basketball on your way out the door when you do eventually retire. Anyway, I'm going with LeBron with the assists here. If you want the points, it's fine, but he hasn't scored against his team quite as much. He did have AD when he wasn't scoring, but even without AD, did not get over the points that he would need because it's a pretty high total for him, knowing that AD's not there. Even D'Lo, 23.5. I mean, there's going to be points in this game, man, and they're going to come from probably all over because both these teams' defenses are terrible, especially the Lakers on the second leg of a back-to-back. So let's talk about Trey and that beautiful hairline for Trey Young. I didn't grab this picture on purpose to like make fun of him. You try to find a nice picture of Trey Young's hairline. Anyway, over 26.5 points for Trey in this one. He's the exact type of player, Steph Curry, if you will, that is poised to score against this Lakers squad. They allow the most threes made on the season. That Laker defense has been atrocious on the perimeter. No Gabe Vincent and a lot of D'Angelo Russell will do that for you. Austin Reeves has not been a good defender on the perimeter as well. Rui Hachimura is not fast enough when they put him out there and he has to play on the perimeter. So Trey Young is going to go ahead and score. Definitely. He's going to get a good dose of Max Christie in this one. Like, I guess that maybe they put Austin Reeves on him like they have in the past, but there's just nobody. I mean, that last year they tried to slow him down with Dennis Schroeder, and that worked, but he still got 30 points, 32 to be exact. So why? Because he's scoring from above the break. Like, this is the dude who scores from above the break. Like, what do you think of? Who do you think of when you think of a dude shooting from the top of the key from 25 feet? You think of Steph, you think of Trey, think of Donnie Mitchell, maybe Luka because he shoots from everywhere, but really it's Trey, right? Like, this is the dude who's playing above the break as much, if not more than anybody, shooting I think that's the most. It's either first or second most above the break threes in the league, right? With Steph up there as well. On no rest, like I said, this Lakers defense is atrocious. 118 defensive rating, giving up 119 a game in the 6 or 7 that they played on back-to-backs this season. Now we know we have no ADs. Really low rim protection means guys might have to collapse. Can't double Trey on the perimeter there because you don't really have any back-end defense to help you out. So I don't know what they're going to do with Trey, man. He's going to basically have his way. I think the assists are live as well. DeJounte Murray's in there. Not really worried about him taking from Trey's points. DeJounte scores in different spots that actually LA defends a bit better. So it's just a big Trey game. I thought this would be 26.5 is fair. I did think 27 or 28.5 was reasonable because of this 247.5 total. I thought you might get Trey a little higher. I think DeJounte being in actually helps. I don't think Trey cares if DeJounte's in or not. He's not really ever looking to pass. That's just my take on it. I mean, sometimes he is, but only when he's driving, and the 3-pointers will be there for him. So let me not trash Trey. I do respect his game. Anyway, this is the summary here. As I don't have any more time, I'm going to run through the bets that we went through yesterday in 1 sec, but just to run through these with you guys. Jay Kuminga, we put that out last night, 26.5 points and rebounds. That was the bet from the prior video. I'm putting videos out the night before, running through each and every one of the games on the slate. And then I'm also coming here on the next day of the games, 3 p.m. Eastern with these videos. I'll be a little bit late today, but let's close it out with Kuminga, 26.5 points and rebounds. Pascal, over 25.5 points and rebounds. Josh Hart, over 12.5 rebounds and assists. LeBron James, over 7.5 assists. Trey Young, over 26.5 points. We're betting 5 units to make 4.6 back. These are the bets from yesterday. Vince Will kind of didn't help us out. I didn't think he was going to play, man, but I still put him on there because if he played, I loved him at 12.5 points. Everybody scored for Memphis. They had a great game, and all the guards scored, I should say. David Roddy, all those dudes. I was looking at guards versus Sack, and the ones that were in there were like David Roddy and Gilliard and whomever else. So we lost out the Vince Will bet. Aaron Gordon went over. Should have had 8. He had 4 in the first like 14 minutes of the game. Didn't end up getting the 8, just got 6 exactly, but we got that one right. Brolo crushed because he had 19 points and got over that by himself. And then we did lose the ladder there for Gordon. Luka, my bad. I guess I shouldn't be fading Luka. Luka had like 16 or 17 points and rebounds and assists going into like the end of the second quarter, and then just went absolutely off in the third and in the fourth, and ended up getting that with like 8 minutes to play in the game. So Colin Sexton had a bad game because the Jazz had a bad game, got smacked by the Brooklyn Nets, and then they ended up getting Keontae George in there because they didn't care about having their starters in there anymore. And lo and behold, Keontae George went off against that bad Brooklyn defense. Just the starters looked like absolute poop for the Jazz in that one. So we were 2-3. We lost 0.8 units on the season now. We are still up 5.5, but the player props are what we're focused on more than anything. 19.3. We went 2-2 yesterday. We got 5 of them here. So let's freaking get it today, y'all, and ride to some victories. All right. I appreciate the time with everybody. Come back tonight. It is on Tuesday night for the Wednesday slate, and then we'll get right into Wednesday's picks on Wednesday afternoon. We got a video with Oaks coming out for college basketball. I thought he was coming out last night, so that's my bad for promising that. He's coming out with the video for Wednesday's slate is what he decided to look at this week, and then he'll be back for Friday looking at Saturday's slate. So subscribe to the page if you would. Continue to follow along at Land Your Bets on social media. And until I see you next, happy betting.